This is going to be a good video. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's rolling. Hello guys and welcome to another video. My name is Mark, I'm an entrepreneur and property investor, and in today's video we're talking about doing renovations or not. And this video I believe will add so much value to everybody watching. So if you haven't already given me a subscribe, please consider subscribing to this channel. Remember, we give away everything on here free of charge. There's no upsell. I'm not trying to sell you a course. I'm just trying to give you my perspective and a bit of information, and then you can make your own decisions. On top of that, if you could give this video a like, it massively helps me out with the algorithm, and I would really appreciate it. And really, that's all I ask from anybody. But guys, today we're talking about whether you should do renovations on a property or not. And this all came about from a phone call that I had with someone a couple of weeks back when he was talking about a property that he was looking to purchase, and he was talking about a renovation that he was looking at doing on it. And what I suggested was maybe you don't want to do the renovation. Maybe it's a better deal without doing any of the work. And what I want to do today is just talk you through that premise, because actually if you're buying a property that's not in a dilapidated state, right, where you're not going to be able to refinance it. I mean, this was a very cheap property in a cheap area. It's only £100,000. The rents obviously reflect the fact that it's quite a cheap area, but ultimately I felt that it was a better deal by not doing the work, because when I looked at the photos it wasn't in a terrible state, and he had been round it and seen it, and he said, yeah, it's livable, but I want to change the kitchen, I want to change the bathroom, I want to give it a lick of paint, some new carpets, and that way I'll be able to charge a little bit more rent. Now, what I have done in this video is I've just rounded down the rent figures slightly, because we knew that there was brackets, okay? So for example, done up, he thought it was worth between 600 and 650, and in its current state between 550 and 600. So for ease and to make it comparable, I've decided to just keep that as it is. And really all I want to do on this video is give you the principles, and then you can apply it when you're looking for properties or when you're making decisions on whether you should do work. And hopefully here I can save some people some money. So the scenario is essentially there's a property, £100,000. It's not in bad condition. I can't show you it because he's buying it and it wouldn't be fair, but £100,000, and the question is whether he spends £15,000 on a renovation, which really, when we looked at it, would probably only add between £5,000 and £10,000 to the end value of the property. Remember, at the moment we're in a red hot market. This deal, although it looks good in terms of return on investment, he loves the property, he loves the area, he believes in that, and that's fine, there's not a massive amount of money to be made on the renovation on this. So option one was to buy it as it is and rent it out as it is. So let's talk through those figures and let's see how that looks. So 100k purchase price, which would be a 25k deposit, 3k stamp duty, 2k legals, get it over the line. You know, we're looking at about 30k all in, not a massive amount. Now the rent, as I said, between 550 and 600, mortgage 120, insurance 20, we're looking at about £410 a month profit, which is 4,920 per annum, or 16.4%, not including any voids and maintenance, because we couldn't really agree on a figure for voids and maintenance. And as long as we keep it consistent between the two properties, it doesn't really matter, because we're comparing this to this, and it's the same property, right? We're comparing one option with another option. If it was property to property, again, as long as we keep it consistent, then it doesn't really matter if we're comparing like for like. It doesn't give us our true ROI. I think the true ROI on this, because I was saying I believe the voids and maintenance to be about £100 a month, and he was saying he could do it for much less. So I believe the ROI on this to be much less. However, I'm happy to just put this out there as principle for you guys to just get the understanding of where I was coming from. So for me, this would give us 16.4% ROI, assuming he did no work, with the lower end of the rental figures. Now, for me, that was the best option, and the reason is that once he bought it for £100,000, all the rest of the costs stay the same, but once you put another £15,000 on a renovation, which you're not going to see back for at least 2 years, and even if you do see it back, you're not seeing all of it back, there's no way. He wasn't buying this at enough of a discount for that to be on the cards. He's added 50% extra cash into the deal, and he's only added a very small amount of rent, you know? We're looking at an extra £50 a month. The reality was a 3-bedroom Victorian terrace in a good condition wasn't commanding that much more than in an okay condition. So for me, it didn't make any sense to do the work. The mortgage would be the same because the deposit's the same, everything else is the same, insurance is going to be the same. The only difference is this upfront cost and then the perceived value that you receive from that. The rent, ultimately, only a little bit more, and we're looking at only £5,520 a year return. Now, this reduces his return, again, not including voids and maintenance, to 12.2%. Now, we all know on this channel, and I talk about it a lot, you know, single let, 8 to 12% is roughly where you're going to be. I think once you do the voids and maintenance, that's where it's going to be, 8 to 12%. But, you know, we were looking at different maintenance figures, and ultimately, if a client comes to me and asks me for an opinion, I give them an opinion. They don't have to take it, and we don't have to use it in this example. But in this example, if it was my choice, I would be saying that option 1, don't do the work, makes more sense. Now, main reason is that when I'm looking to do work, I need to get a bigger discount. Now, if he was buying this for 80,000 and spending 15k, and then it was going to be worth 115k, well, now there's a 20k profit in it. And now it's interesting, okay? Even if he was to get it for 90k and there was a 10k profit in it, it would become a little bit more interesting. That said, once you've paid all your fees, once you've done a remortgage, all the rest, most of that 10k profit is completely gone. You know, a refinance is going to cost you a couple of grand in legals, a couple of grand in all the other stuff like the brokerage fees, the valuations, solicitors, everything comes off. You're not left with much once 75% LTV. You can only be left a couple of grand. So for me, that's why that's not very interesting to me. I much prefer on this, buy it in okay condition. This is the example I have. Buy it in okay condition, rent it out as it is, see how long you can get out of the existing condition of the property, and then refurb when you can do a refinance at the same time. Now, my even more preferred option, and this is what I said to him on the phone, would be if I could buy one in great condition for 110,000. So if I could buy one without having to do the 15k reno, and it's already in great condition for 110,000. When we looked on Rightmove, we were able to find one for about 110k. Now, I can charge more rent, I can leverage that money from the bank. In fact, let's see what that looks like if we put it up here. It's gonna look much better, of course it is. So the purchase price is gonna be 1,110, the deposit is going to be 27,500. Stamp duty, it's going to be a little bit more, but let's say 3,250, something like that. Legals is going to be 2k. Reno, no Reno now. So now rather than being 45k in, we are only, let's do a quick calculation, 32,500. Now let's assume the rent's the same, 600. Now this mortgage is going to be slightly more, but only to the tune of like a £5 or a tenner. So let's say 130 to be a bit negative to ourselves. £20 on this. Right, let's work that out. So we know that we've only added £10 here, so we know that this is 450. 450 times by 12 gives us 5,400. Now our ROI is going to be much stronger. Watch this, 5,400 divided by the money we put in, 32,500, times that by 100, 16.6%. And the reason is we have leveraged the value of the renovation. And that would be my preferred option if I wanted one done up. So in this, what I really wanted to show you was the value of buying done up or buying in okay, but not getting caught in this middle area where you're paying for a renovation that doesn't add enough value and ultimately reduces your returns. Because cash on cash is key when you're looking at property investment, in my experience. So guys, I hope this video has been interesting. I found that call absolutely fascinating, and really, we helped turn it around a little bit with him, and he went away deciding basically this renovation wasn't gonna happen. He was either gonna buy one already done up, or he was gonna just keep it as it was. And I think he's probably going to do this because he loved the property, loved the area, you know, all those other things, which is absolutely fine. But I think he's going to go with option 1. But what he's not going to do is waste and tie up so much capital without creating any extra return. In fact, creating negative return. So guys, I hope you found this video interesting. I hope it's really inspired you on your next property of what you're going to do. Give the video a big like. It helps me out with the algorithm. Subscribe if you haven't already. Turn those bell notifications on. And I will see you again on Saturday. Remember, it's Tuesday and Saturday from now on. See you then, guys. Cheers. Boom.